It is an awful thing to have a family member so sick in the hospital. He had to be intubated, tubed down his throat. We weren't sure if he was going to make it. And so I calculated in my mind and concluded that through all of this, his life expectancy would most likely be divided in two, which was too much for me and multiplied my anxiety, and I wanted to yell out, "What about him, God? What about me?" And it's this adversity that has come to me over the past couple of months that has made me realize some things. That in my state of disappointment, I was missing out on the life appointed to me by God. That my selfishness was causing some unjust negligence. And that maybe being in a hospital was exactly where I needed to be. People in those halls worn out with diseases near the end of their life who don't know Jesus. And I realized how we are broken, ugly from the inside out, gutless and worthy of death without a doubt. And we are all hurting in some way, and it's true that hurt people will hurt people. And yet we are called to form a community under these old church steeples. And it seems impossible because if it were up to us, we would be building steeples that would rust. And yet we are not called to be perfection, but called to serve under His protection. So, let's start getting serious and mixing sinners with saints, because this is a cocktail every straight-edge Christian ought to have drank. Jesus said, "I want to make your cup runneth over," and yet here we all are still looking at the world with empty glasses. Let us be people who stand up and who know it, who love Jesus and really show it. People who know what God thinks about love and service, and how going on mission doesn't always mean to desert this city that needs us so desperately. And that my justification for having a 2-week missionary vacation might be a little messed up when these streets are running with so much blood. Like, what about Stacy, who walked up and down Main Street looking a little too racy? Caught up in a drug deal, she found out that life was a cheater and a liar. At least that's what she was told by her supplier. Not yet 17, she was put in a lockdown facility. And it was there that she found out the real meaning of hostility, which is the ability to see the fragility in one's life and want to box that up. And with the use of a fist and a bite, you make sure your innocence never sees the light. And that innocence tried to escape, but it was beat, tied up, hung on the door, where Stacy's body lay numb, her innocence left dripping on the floor. What about that? What did we do? What could we have done? For some of us warriors of justice, the battle hasn't even begun. We are called to scream at the scars on the girl's arms. We are meant to fight injustice with this hope, this light in which God has trusted us. We need to set up a demonstration to show Jesus' occupation, show God's love in us. And I know that I'm constantly needing to be reminded that my identity was sent to me, breathed into me, and that it has been changing and rearranging, providing the contemplation of my creation, of who I was made in, of who I'm sustained in, the one who came to save from sin, the one I live day to day in, the one I will proclaim in, and the one I will give all the fame then. We have a God of an eternity of affections for us, a God in whom we can trust, whose love does not come in waves that will rust, like that old church steeple that reminds us that we are broken people. So it's true. Fundamentally, our foundations are flawed. And this is why we need a Savior,